Welcome to today's class. We're going to do a 30-minute root chakra focused class with a mix of mantra, mudra, asana, pranayama, and meditation. I'll invite you to begin by coming into an easy seat. You can sit cross-legged. If you have tight hip flexors, you can sit on a block so that that's more comfortable for you. And we'll begin by introducing today's mudra. Today's mudra is the Chinmaya mudra, and so you're going to bring your pinky, your ring, and your middle finger pads to the center of your palm, and then you're going to bring your pointer and your thumb pads together. We'll do this with both hands, and then we place them palms down, just on the bottom of our thighs where we meet our knees. And the Chinmaya mudra is one of the mudras most closely related to the root chakra. It promotes a greater sense of security, which is also one of the aspects of Muladhara, of root chakra. And now that we're in our easy seat and we have our mudra, I invite you to join me in 3 deep breaths to bring us into here and now. You can have your eyes open, softly gazing in front, or you can have your eyes closed. With our mouth closed, tongue to roof of mouth, inhaling through the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1. And 2 more times. Inhaling, beginning at the root, at the base of the spine, inflating the abdomen, up through the rib cage, under the shoulder blades, and perhaps sipping in a little more breath and raising the crown. And exhaling like a coffee press, imagine that breath pushing down and out from the crown all the way to the root. And in our final breath, inhaling, and when you're ready, that final exhale to bring us here. And before we jump into today's pranayama practice, our breathing exercise, we'll do a quick little mantra. For today's mantra, I've chosen the bija mantra, or the seed mantra of Muladhara, Lam. And we say this 7 times. We'll do 3 rounds of this mantra. I'll do the first one, and if you'd like to join in, please do on the next 2, or you can simply sit and observe, whatever your comfort level may be. And I inhale. Lam, 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 lam. 2 more. Inhaling. Lam, 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 lam. Final round. Inhale. Lam, 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 lam. When we do this particular mantra, given its relation to the root chakra, it's always fun to place our intention or our attention to the root chakra location, which is at the base of the spine, the perineum. Now we'll do a quick pranayama. So today's breathing exercise is Nadi Shodana, or alternate nostril breathing. It helps to regulate the breath in and out between the left and right hemispheres of the body. As we move through the day, if you take note, sometimes you have a look in the mirror and you'll see that one nostril is larger than the other. That's because that particular side is doing more work to bring oxygen into the body. And so the Nadi Shodana, or this alternate nostril breathing, allows us to help bring some more balance into the left and right hemisphere of the body. And so we begin, we bring our right hand with our pointer finger and our middle finger, placing them on the 3rd eye center, in the center of the forehead, just above the eyebrows. You can have your eyes open place our right thumb on our right nostril. So we're only breathing in through the left side, and our mouth is closed, breathing in through the nostril for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Slight pause at the top, switching nostrils so that your ring finger is covering your left nostril. And exhaling through the right nostril for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling through right nostril. Imagine filling your entire right side of the body with breath. 3, 2, 1. Slight pause at the top. Switch sides and cover the right nostril with your thumb. Exhale through left nostril for 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 2. Inhaling, filling the left side of the body, the abdomen, the ribs, shoulders, up to the crown. Brief pause. Switch sides. Closing left nostril with ring finger, exhale through right. 3, 2, 1. Inhaling through right nostril, filling right side, abdomen, ribs, shoulders. Brief pause at top. Switch sides, closing right nostril with thumb, exhale through left for 4, 3, 2, 1. We do 3 more rounds here, and we'll try to extend our breath for an extra 2 counts. Inhaling through left nostril for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Brief pause at top. Switch sides. Exhaling through right nostril for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through right, starting at the root, filling the body up like a balloon, coming up through the ribs, shoulder blades. Perhaps you feel a lengthening of the spine as you breathe in that last sip of breath. Slight pause at the top, switch sides, and exhaling through left nostril for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we have 2 more rounds here. You can go at your own pace. You might want to inhale for 4, for 6, for 8, depending on your level of comfort. Just an opportunity to drop into your breath and just notice what you notice as you inhale and exhale through this exercise. So we will inhale through our left nostril. Pausing at the top for a moment and switching when you're ready to exhale through the right nostril. As you're inhaling and exhaling, you might notice that this is a great opportunity to engage your Ujjayi breath. This is that breath that comes in through a dropping of the soft palate at the back of the mouth. And it kind of feels or sounds a little bit like Darth Vader breathing. And coming into our final round here, I will come back to counting. Inhaling through left nostril for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch sides. Exhaling through right for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through right, filling up the right hemisphere of the body. 4, 3, 2, 1. Switching sides for our final exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And releasing your right hand, coming into Chin Mudra. We'll just take a simple breath here before we move into our asana. And you might find with the completion of that Nadi Shodana that there's a little more evenness in your breath on both sides. So I'll invite you to come and stand at the top of your mat. We'll be doing a number of standing poses today because our focus is Muladhara, Root Chakra. So starting in mountain pose. And as we're doing a grounding focus class, because Earth is the element for Muladhara or Root Chakra, we're going to use a lot of visualization around rooting into the ground, into the earth. So drawing attention to our feet and looking at where we place our balance, we place our weight. So base knuckle in the ball of the foot beneath the big toe, base knuckle in the ball of the foot beneath the pinky toe, and then the central foot in the heel. And I like to imagine that these are the base of my tree trunk and my roots are coming down into the soil. This helps me to, again, get that feeling of groundedness in my asana practice, and it helps me to balance when we do some of the balancing poses. Moving up the body, we're doing a slight inner rotation on the thighs. So you can imagine that our inner thighs are shooting out and back behind us. I invite you to bring your attention to your hip points and your lower ribs. Imagine that you're drawing those 2 points together, which will help to bring the pelvis into neutral and in turn lengthen the central channel or the spine as we move up the body. Shoulders down and away from the ears, shoulder blades sort of dripping down the back. And then thinking of a bright red cord starting at the core of the earth and running up through the magma, the rock, the soil, through the center, in between your legs, up through the base of your spine or your perineum, up through the center of your body, just in front of your spine, your central column, all the way up through the crown and extending to the stars. And you may find that when you use this visualization, it lifts your crown slightly, which naturally tucks your chin in just a touch. And again, this lengthens the central column, the Sushumna, our major energy highway in the body. We'll just take a moment here in mountain pose. And for some of us, this might be a good time to think about some of the different places in our own lives where we feel a sense of security and safety, a sense of groundedness. 2 more breaths here. And perhaps you want to come back to that balloon visualization of filling up the torso with your breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. On our next inhale, we'll do big arms circling up towards the sky. And taking up all the space that we want to, big arms swan dive into a forward fold on your exhale. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway up. Lengthening the spine. I like to imagine that thread is pulling my crown in one direction and it's pulling my tailbone in the other direction so that I can cultivate some nice length in the spine here. We'll do this 2 more times, exhaling, forward fold to wherever you're comfortable. Inhale, halfway up, hands on shins. And I invite you, exhale, forward fold, to stay in that place where you feel comfortable to take your nice deep breaths. Halfway up, inhale. And exhale for our final forward fold. From here, we'll move into a classical Surya Namaskar. Inhaling, leading with the right foot to step back. Dropping your right knee. You can leave your toes tucked here for a greater sense of balance and stability. Alternately, you can have your foot go flat on the mat. Again, whatever is going to make you feel comfortable and move through our poses today with confidence and a feeling of security. As we inhale, you can simply come up with your chest and look forward. Or you can come up hands above the head, tucking your left hip back into its socket and drawing your right hip forward so you're doing a scissor square on your hips. Exhale, reverse arms and plant your hands to come into a high plank. Exhale, knees to floor, keeping your toes tucked, chest in between the thumbs, and chin to floor. Ashtanga asana. Inhale, release the feet, pelvis down, come up into cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes, and bring yourself back into down dog. And we'll stay here for 2 breaths. Engaging your navel into your spine, hips pointing up and back. And coming into that idea of groundedness, not only are we connecting with the ground here as we stand on our feet, but also our hands are providing so much support, keeping us here in down dog. On your next inhale, raise your right leg. And exhale, come into a plank, 3-legged plank, knee to nose, and step through. Drop your left knee. And again, you can leave your toes tucked, or you can bring your top of your foot flat. On your next inhale, looking forward, optional, you can bring your arms up above your head. And again, drawing that right hip back into the hip socket, left hip forward. Exhale, reverse arms, plant your hands, and then we're actually going to step our left foot in line with our right. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Big arms, straight back, coming all the way up. Reaching up to the sky. Hands to heart, exhale. And we'll stay here for a moment. One of the attributes of Muladhara or Root Chakra is the idea that we have the right to be here. We have the right to take up space. And so in that perspective, we come into a swan dive and we take up all the space with our arms. On your next inhale, big arms all the way up to the sky. Coming into a forward fold swan dive on the exhale, take up that space. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. And this time we'll lead with our left foot, stepping back into that low lunge, drop the knee. Again, you can tuck your toes or have your top of your foot flat. Inhale, coming into crescent again. Exhale, reverse arms. Tuck your back foot. Step back into high plank. Next exhale, 8 points bowing, knees, toes, chest between your thumbs and your chin. Inhaling into cobra. Pelvis on the floor, drawing the chest up. And exhale into down. 2 breaths here. And what are some of the ways in which we can cultivate a greater sense of security or grounding in some of the other places in our lives where perhaps we're not feeling so safe or secure where we are? Next inhale, raise left leg. Exhale, knee to nose and plank, and step through into a low lunge. Drop your back knee. Inhale into crescent. Exhale, reverse arms. Coming into a forward fold. Halfway up, inhale. And exhale, forward fold. Leading with our left foot. We're going to step back, and then we're going to place our heel on the mat and come into Warrior Two. When we're in Warrior Two, I invite you to check in with your alignment. We want to see our front heel in line with our arch to our back heel, somewhere in between there. Our bent knee is in line with our middle toes so that we're not collapsing. And there's a nice 45-degree angle on our bent leg. Our interior of our extended foot, the interior ankle is pushing out towards the exterior ankle. And we've engaged our navel, drawing up and back towards the spine. Shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Arms extended. You can look out over your middle finger. If that's a little too much for your neck, you can look forward. And we'll be here for 3 breaths. Coming back to where our balance points are on our feet. Base knuckle of big toe, base knuckle of pinky toe. Single point in the center of the heel. On your next inhale, we'll straighten the front leg. And we're going to come into triangle. So you're jutting your left hip out and you're reaching forward through the waist. Take a breath. And on the exhale, drop your right hand down to your shin, the block, or the mat, whatever is comfortable for you. And bringing your left hand to your left hip crease. You can stay here. You can look down. You can look to the side, or you can look up at the sky or the ceiling, whatever is comfortable for you. Today I'm going to look down because if I look up, I'm looking right at the sun. You can extend your left arm so it goes straight up, and imagine that there's a straight line running from your bottom hand, up your arm, through your shoulders, through your extended arm to your fingertips. Coming back into our breath. On your next exhale, looking down if you're not already. And on the inhale, we engage our core to bring us back up. And then on our next inhale, we'll lift the ball of our right foot, angle that right foot forward, and we're going to come to the other side, so we're bringing the ball up on our left foot so that we come into Warrior Two to the left side. Taking a moment here perhaps to check our alignment so that we can maintain a solid grounding while we're in this stance. It's a simple stance, but it's a great stance for coming into stillness, coming into calmness. When we can be in stillness, we can it's almost easier to find clarity through that stillness. And these hatha-like classes where there's slower poses and where we hold our poses are a great place to practice that idea of coming into stillness and finding calm, even if we're pushing a little bit against our comfort zone. Can you maintain that even breath? On your next inhale, straighten front leg. Exhale, shooting your right hip out behind you and stretching out and forward through the left waist. Exhale, release your left hand down to the shin, a block, or the mat. You can keep your right hand at your right hip crease, or you can extend it up. If you find during any of these poses that your breath is hitching a little bit, it's a great time to ease out of that pose just slightly. It doesn't matter how deep we can get into a pose or how fancy we can, the level of difficulty in terms of fancy poses. It's really all about finding that place, a balance between your effort and being able to maintain nice deep breaths so that the poses can really do their work on us. Next exhale, looking down if you're not already. Next inhale, engage the core to come back up. And we'll come into a brief warrior two again here before we cartwheel or windmill our hands forward, planting the hands on the mat, coming into a brief high plank before we bring the knees down, crossing our feet underneath us and bringing them out in front to come into staff pose or dandasana. Once we're in dandasana, just take a moment. You can pull the flesh of your buttocks out from behind you. I invite you to draw your attention to where your sit bones are and really feel how your body is pressing down onto your mat, onto the floor or the ground where you're practicing. Extending that feeling through the hamstrings, the calves, and the back of the heels. At all these points, we are grounding into the earth. And I invite you to notice how that earth supports your body. Placing hands in line with hips. You might find too, as you press down into your sit bones, that in turn helps you to lengthen through your crown. And this is a great opportunity to check in. Are your ribs jutting out or are they collected? If they're not collected, you can come back to the hip points and the lower ribs, knitting together. That can help to bring us back into a neutral pelvis. On the next inhale, we'll reach forward, lengthening the spine all the way up through the crown. And on the exhale, we'll come into a forward fold. Again, lead with the chest. It doesn't matter how deep you get in our forward fold today. I always like to visualize again that beautiful red cord stretching from my tailbone all the way up my spine through the crown. This allows me to lead with my chest so that I don't collapse the front body. And it allows me to get a nice full stretch from my heels all the way up my body through my crown. And we'll be here for 3 breaths. Red is the color associated with Muladhara, Root Chakra. Two of the primary functions of our root chakra are survival and, of course, grounding, as we've been talking a lot about that today. There are many affirmations we can use in our everyday lives to remind us of the importance of cultivating that sense of grounding. On your next inhale, coming back up. And slowly coming down onto your back for a brief happy baby pose before we enter into Savasana. So I invite you to draw your knees up to your chest. You might want to pump them a little bit. And then spread the knees, bring the arms to the inside of the legs, bring the feet up and grasp the outside of your feet. Pressing your feet up towards the ceiling or the sky. Simultaneously, we want to press our tailbone into the floor, or at least try and stop it from coming up off the mat, as well as keeping our shoulders in contact with the mat. We'll breathe here for a moment. If you'd like to move around a little bit here, we have our backs on the ground, and this is a great opportunity perhaps to give yourself a little back massage by rolling to left and to right. You might want to do this, you might not, whatever your comfort level is here. And you could maybe move your legs around too if that feels good for you. Or it might just feel really nice to be still here. And just enjoying the breath and feeling it wave over your heart. And when you're ready, release your feet to the floor. And we will lengthen our legs out into Savasana. Bring in your feet mat width apart. You might want to rock your ankles back and forth a little bit, just to really let go of that lower body as we come into Savasana. We'll be here for a few minutes. You can draw your shoulders away from your ears. And as we're laying in Savasana, I invite you to draw your breath down to your toes, in through your feet, and allow that sense of deep relaxation to move up the body from your base, your feet, up through your legs, coming into your root chakra, Muladhara, at your perineum, base of spine. And imagine a red orb or a red flower here. And just let that pulsating feeling of relaxation move up the body. And whenever you're ready, a little movement in the fingers and toes. Maybe you want to roll your ankles and your wrists around. Maybe not. And then we'll come over onto our right side for a moment before we come up into easy seat. And when we come into easy seat, we'll finish our practice off today with a quick 5-minute meditation. You can choose to keep your eyes closed here or softly gaze to the tip of your nose. And I invite you to come back to Chin Mudra if you remember. Pinky, ring, middle finger to palm of hand, and then pointer and thumb pads together. This is an opportunity to, again, drop into that sense of being supported by the earth. Finding those sit bones and the tailbone, and imagine a little tripod there that part of your body is forming as you sit here in easy seat. Placing our shoulders directly above our hips, and maybe lifting the crown slightly. I invite you to just drop into the natural rhythm of your own breath, in through the nose, out through the nose, tongue, and the roof of the mouth just behind the teeth. Our root chakra is really the foundation of our entire system. It's actually located at the end of the coccygeal plexus, which are nerve endings that come off of the spine. Element is earth. And grounding, which is the primary act of Muladhara, forms our foundation. Finding ways to ground in our everyday life. Excellent way to cope with stress. And as I said earlier, it helps to bring clarity through that stillness of grounding. Perhaps it's having a cup of tea in the morning when it's nice and quiet. Maybe for you it means going for a walk in a park or making yourself a nice meal. When we meditate, often our minds will wander a little bit, and that's perfectly normal. That's what the human mind likes to do. So it's a great opportunity to see if you can draw your attention back to the inhalation through the nose of that cool air and the exhalation through the nose of that warm air. You can also choose to visualize the color red today in our meditation as a focal point, a point of focus. Wrap up our day today, finish our meditation. I'll leave you with 2 affirmations that I really like that are really helpful in my own grounding. I love my body and trust its wisdom. I love my body and trust its wisdom. I think oftentimes we forget how wise our bodies truly are if we listen to them. And another affirmation I really like: I release all doubts and fears that block the way for love and abundance to come into my life. I release all doubts and fears that block the way for love and abundance to come into my life. You're ready. If your eyes are not open yet, you can gently blink them open. And just take a moment to reorient yourself to where you are. Just look around, notice the shapes and the colors. Nothing good, nothing bad. It just is. And I thank you for participating in today's class. Om Shanti Shanti.